8. Ancient Stoic Mindset Habits to crush anxiety and create deep inner peace. There's a reason your thoughts attack you when the world goes quiet, and it has nothing to do with weakness. If you knew the truth behind your worry, you'd never look at your mind the same way again. The problem: modern overthinking and inner turmoil. You probably didn't come here by accident. Something inside you has been shaking, hasn't it? That restless silence in your chest. That pressure sitting behind your ribs like a stone you can't swallow. Those nights when your mind refuses to shut up, replaying conversations, imagining disasters that haven't happened, constructing scenarios you wish you could escape, and you try to breathe, you try to distract yourself, but something keeps pulling you back into that endless loop of worry. And you wonder, quietly, secretly, if there's something wrong with you. Why you can't just let things go the way other people seem to. Why your thoughts fight each other like shadows in a room with no doors. Why peace feels like a story other people get to live. Let me tell you something that may shock you. This isn't weakness. This isn't failure. This isn't you being broken. What you are feeling is the exact battle every human has fought long before your name ever existed. The Romans felt it. The Greeks felt it. Kings, slaves, warriors, scholars, every one of them knew the weight of an untamed mind. You aren't the exception. You're the continuation of an ancient struggle. And if you feel like you're losing that battle, it's because no one ever taught you how to fight it. Modern life trains your body, your ambition, your productivity, but never your mind. You've been thrown into the battlefield unarmed. But right here, right now, you're about to pick up a weapon older than civilization itself. A philosophy not meant for debating, but for surviving. Stoicism. And before we go any further, let me welcome you to the Pure Stoic Practice channel, a place created to help you learn, grow, strengthen your mind, and reclaim the parts of yourself you've lost in the noise. Hello everyone, and thank you for being here. If you want to keep learning powerful lessons that elevate your life, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the newest videos. Now let's talk about why you're really here. Because you're tired, not physically. You've been tired in your soul. Tired of pretending you're okay. Tired of keeping everything together. Tired of feeling like you're one breath away from falling apart. Tired of trying to control things you never had control over in the first place. Deep down, you know that something about the way you handle life has to change, because the way you've been doing it is slowly destroying your peace. And this is where the hook becomes reality. The reason you're suffering is not because life is too chaotic, but because you've never been taught how to face chaos with a trained mind. The strongest people in history were not those who avoided storms. They were the ones who learned how to remain calm inside them. Stoicism is not some ancient, dusty philosophy irrelevant to modern life. It is the blueprint for mental strength. The manual you were never given. The guide you didn't know you needed. And today, we're going to explore one of the deepest pieces of that blueprint. Understanding why your mind spirals into worry and how to break that cycle from the inside out. To hook you even deeper, I want you to imagine something. Imagine a life where you still face problems, still feel fear, still meet challenges, but none of them control you anymore. A life where your thoughts don't drag you around like a prisoner. A life where your emotions serve you, not sabotage you. A life where your inner voice becomes your ally instead of your enemy. That life isn't a fantasy. It's a skill. And every skill can be learned when you know the right principles. Today we begin with the first principle from Outline A, the truth about your current battle with overthinking, anxiety, and internal turmoil. You feel overwhelmed because your mind is untrained. You feel anxious because you've been conditioned to chase certainty in a world where certainty does not exist. You feel exhausted because your brain has been running simulations of danger that never arrive. Your stress doesn't come from reality. It comes from the distrust you have for your ability to face reality. And that's the heart of the problem, not life itself, but the story your mind keeps telling you about life. This is why Stoicism is so powerful. It doesn't try to change the world around you. It changes the person inside you. Instead of teaching you how to avoid problems, it teaches you how to build a mind that is stronger than problems. Instead of telling you to eliminate uncertainty, it teaches you how to walk with uncertainty without fear. Instead of promising you a perfect life, it gives you a disciplined mind that stays steady, even when the ground shakes beneath you. And here's what makes this so important. Once you learn to master your inner world, nothing outside of you can shake you the same way again. The storms keep coming, but you stop drowning in them. The thoughts keep rising, but you stop believing every story they tell. The fears still whisper, but you stop letting them drag you around like chains. Instead, you start seeing yourself as someone capable, someone grounded, someone who can breathe even when everything feels heavy. Someone who is not run by emotion, but guided by clarity. Someone who is not fragile, but forged. This is the transformation we are about to step into. One habit at a time. One mental shift at a time. One moment of self-awareness at a time. And it starts here, right at the doorway between who you've been and who you're becoming. Before we continue, if you feel even a small spark of connection right now, please consider subscribing to Pure Stoic Practice. Every like, every comment, every subscription fuels this channel to keep creating deeper, wiser, stronger content for you. Your support is what allows these teachings to reach more people who need them. If you're ready, let's keep going. Because everything changes from here. Strengthening the mind before the storm. Before you can ever hope to calm the storms that rise inside you, you must learn how to prepare your mind before those storms arrive. Most people wait until they are already drowning to figure out how to swim. They wait until fear grabs their throat before they try to understand courage. They wait until worry explodes in their mind before they even consider how to manage it. But this is why so many people stay trapped in cycles of anxiety, because they react instead of prepare. A Stoic doesn't wait until panic shows up to train calm. They build the foundation long before the world tests it. And that's the essence of strengthening the mind before the storm. The first skill you must learn is the practice of imagining difficulty before it comes, not to frighten yourself, but to free yourself. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. When you calmly picture what could go wrong, you rob the unknown of its ability to intimidate you. Most of your fear doesn't come from the event itself. It comes from your mind's inability to handle uncertainty. You fear being blindsided, unprepared, caught off guard. But when you rehearse possible challenges in advance, you prepare your emotional armor. You familiarize your mind with the terrain. Instead of being shocked when life hits you, you feel ready, steady, anchored. Imagine walking into a difficult meeting. Instead of hoping it goes well and panicking When tension rises, you've already visualized the worst-case scenario. You've practiced how you would respond with dignity instead of defensiveness. You've rehearsed your breathing, your tone, your presence. So when something does go wrong, you face it with clarity instead of collapse. Or imagine anticipating a setback in your personal goals. Instead of breaking down at the first sign of trouble, you've already accepted that obstacles are part of the path. You knew they were coming. You made peace with them before they arrived. This isn't negativity. It's preparation, and preparation is one of the deepest forms of mental strength. But even preparation isn't enough unless you also understand one of the most liberating ideas ever taught: the dichotomy of control. A simple truth with enormous power. There are things in life that you can control, and there are things in life that you cannot. Misery comes from mixing the two. Peace comes from separating them. A trained mind knows this difference instinctively. It doesn't pour energy into changing other people's opinions, fixing the past, predicting the future, or controlling outcomes. It directs its power toward the only place influence truly exists: your actions, your choices, your reactions, your character. This is where your anxiety begins to loosen its grip. Because the moment you stop trying to manage the uncontrollable, your mind stops burning energy it never should have been spending. Life becomes cleaner, lighter, clearer. You start to understand that you do not need the world to bend to your will in order to be at peace. You only need to manage yourself. And when you realize that self-control is something no one can take from you, you become far stronger than any circumstance that rises against you. Yet even the strongest philosophy becomes difficult to practice if your mind is constantly being polluted by input that weakens you. This is why the third principle of strengthening your mind before the storm is so crucial: guarding what enters your mental space. Your brain absorbs everything you feed it. Every headline, every argument, every comparison, every anxious conversation, every careless comment. Most of your stress does not originate from your life. It originates from everything you consume around your life. The world pours fear into you if you let it. Social media trains you to compare yourself until you feel inadequate. News trains you to catastrophize. Certain people drain your stability with their chaos, forcing you to carry emotions that aren't yours. A Stoic guards the mind the way a warrior guards a gate, not with fear, but with discernment, because they understand this one truth: you cannot cultivate peace in a mind constantly being filled with noise, and you cannot build strength in an environment designed to weaken you. This isn't about avoiding reality. It's about choosing which parts of reality deserve your attention. It's about curating the mental world in which your thoughts grow. A garden only flourishes when the gardener chooses what belongs in the soil. So you begin to unfollow what triggers insecurity or anger. You limit exposure to negativity that adds no value. You choose people who challenge you to grow, not collapse. You give your mind silence so it can breathe, and give your attention only to what strengthens you. This discipline is not small. It is life-changing. Because a calm mind is not a passive mind. It is a protected mind, and a protected mind becomes a powerful one. Strengthening your mind before the storm means building readiness, clarity, and resilience long before the world tests you. It means rehearsing courage so that fear loses its surprise. It means choosing where your energy goes so the uncontrollable loses its power. And it means guarding your mental space so you stop absorbing the world's anxiety as if it were your own. When these three pillars become habits, the storms still come, but they no longer decide who you become when they arrive. Mastery through reflection and acceptance. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that the loudest battles they fight are not happening around them, but within them. Not against other people, not against external events, but against the echoes of their own unprocessed thoughts. You can carry stress for years without realizing that the true source of it is not the weight of life itself, but the fact that you've never learned how to sit with your own mind long enough to understand it. Most people run from their thoughts, avoiding silence as if silence itself were dangerous. But what you avoid eventually controls you, and what you refuse to face grows stronger in the dark. A Stoic does not run. A Stoic turns inward with honesty, and through that honesty, they reclaim the authority over their inner world. This is why nightly reflection is one of the most powerful practices a human being can adopt. It is a discipline that forces your mind to stop spinning and start understanding. Not in the rushed, distracted way most people think, but with calm, deliberate awareness. At the end of the day, when the noise settles and the world quiets down, you sit with yourself. Not to judge, not to condemn, but to see clearly. You walk through your day with presence. The choices you made, the emotions that rose, the moments that tested you, the values you held or abandoned, the small victories you forgot to acknowledge. In this gentle revisiting, you create a bridge between who you were this morning and who you hope to become tomorrow. This reflection is not about seeking perfection. It's about deepening your relationship with yourself. Most people live without ever understanding why they react the way they do, why certain things trigger them, why they repeat the same patterns. But when you take the time to examine your day, the patterns start to reveal themselves. Maybe you notice that certain moments always steal your calm. Maybe you see that you keep sacrificing your boundaries. Maybe you realize you spoke when you should have listened, or remained silent when you should have stood firm. These realizations are not punishments. They are instructions. Each one is a map that shows you where growth is possible. The power of this practice lies in its honesty, not the harsh honesty that tears you apart, but the compassionate honesty that builds you. You are simply observing, not attacking. You are learning, not shaming. You are becoming the witness of your mind rather than its servant. When you review your actions, you reclaim authorship. And every day becomes an opportunity to align yourself more closely with the person you want to be. This is how inner strength is formed, not through grand gestures, but through quiet, consistent understanding. But reflection alone is not enough unless you pair it with the courage to accept life as it unfolds, not reluctantly, not resentfully, fully. This is the heart of amor fati, the love of fate. Few people truly grasp what this means. It is not passive acceptance. It is not pretending to enjoy suffering. It is the realization that everything in your life, every loss, every challenge, every disappointment can serve your growth if you choose to use it. The events themselves are neither good nor bad. They become good or bad based on how you respond and what you allow them to shape within you. When life brings pain, most people resist it. They replay it, fight it, deny it, or wish it away. This resistance becomes a second wound, often deeper than the first. But when you practice amor fati, you step into a different way of living. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and begin asking, "What can this make of me?" This shift is where real power emerges. You stop viewing adversity as a punishment and begin seeing it as raw material, like iron heated in fire, shaped into something stronger. Imagine looking back on your life and recognizing that the moments you once feared most were the very moments that forged your character. That heartbreak taught you self-respect. That mistake taught you humility. That failure taught you discipline. That loss forced you to rebuild your foundation. Amor fati is not about loving the pain, but about loving who you become because you faced it. It allows you to walk through life without constantly resisting reality, because you trust that everything is part of your path, even the parts you didn't choose. When reflection and amor fati work together, something extraordinary happens inside you. You stop being a victim of circumstance. You stop feeling tossed by the winds of life. You begin to understand yourself deeply, and through that understanding, you meet life with openness rather than fear. You walk through challenges not with bitterness, but with curiosity. You face uncertainty not with panic, but with trust. You stop clinging to how things should be and start embracing things as they are, knowing you have the capacity to transform them into meaning. This combination, honest nightly reflection and wholehearted acceptance of fate, creates a mind that cannot be easily shaken. You become grounded, steady, aware. You see your flaws without collapsing, and you see your hardships without surrendering. You learn from every day, and you grow from every difficulty. And slowly, quietly, you become someone who can move through life with calm resilience, no matter what storms rise ahead. Training presence and mental toughness. There is a quiet truth about worry that most people never fully understand. Worry is rarely about this moment. It is an invention of the mind, a projection into an imagined future where everything goes wrong and you have no strength to face it. Worry is the mind abandoning the present and wandering into a world that does not yet exist. You feel the fear of tomorrow, the pressure of next week, the echoes of a disaster that might never come. And because your mind lives ahead of you, your body responds as if danger is already here. This is why anxiety feels so overwhelming. It's not anchored to reality. It's anchored to possibility. And possibility, when left unchecked, becomes a prison. To break free from this prison, you must learn to return to the only place where real life ever happens: the present moment. Presence is not a mystical state. It is not some spiritual enlightenment. It is the simple act of being where your feet are, feeling your breath, noticing what is actually happening, not what your mind is predicting. When you bring your awareness back to the current moment, you interrupt the spiral. You interrupt the story. You interrupt the fear. In this moment, right now, you are alive. In this moment, you are safe. In this moment, the catastrophe you fear does not exist. And when you train yourself to come back to the moment repeatedly, something remarkable happens. The grip of your worries begins to weaken. Presence is a skill. It requires practice, like strengthening a muscle that has been neglected for years. You start small. You catch yourself drifting into what if, and you gently pull yourself back with a breath. You notice the tension in your body and soften it instead of letting it build. You take a moment to feel the ground supporting you, reminding your brain that you are not floating in uncertainty. You are rooted in reality. This constant returning to the present creates stability. It creates inner space. It creates clarity. The world may still be chaotic, but your mind becomes a calmer place to stand. But presence alone doesn't solve everything. Anxiety has another layer: fear of discomfort, fear of pain, fear of hardship, fear of any situation in which you might feel vulnerable or exposed. The mind panics because it secretly believes you cannot handle what the future might bring. This is why Stoics practice something that may seem strange at first: voluntary discomfort. Not suffering for its own sake, but deliberately stepping into small, controlled challenges so that you discover through experience that discomfort cannot destroy you. When you choose discomfort, you reclaim power over fear. You show your mind that difficulty is not fatal. The first time you take a cold shower, there's a shock, but you realize you can breathe through it. The first time you skip a small indulgence, your cravings rise, but you realize they cannot control you. The first time you do the hard task in the morning, instead of avoiding it, you realize that action dissolves anxiety. Each time you willingly walk into something uncomfortable, you teach your mind a new truth. I am capable. I am resilient. I can endure more than I thought. This practice does not make life easier. It makes you stronger. And that strength becomes the antidote to worry. You no longer fear losing comfort because you are no longer dependent on it. You no longer fear uncertainty because you know you can adapt. You no longer fear pain because you know you can withstand it. Challenges become training, not threats. Obstacles become opportunities to fortify your character. This shift is subtle, but transformative. When you stop expecting life to be easy, you stop suffering when it becomes difficult. And when you stop fearing difficulty, you stop wasting energy imagining it. Presence brings you back to the truth of this moment. Voluntary discomfort builds the confidence that you can face whatever moments come next. Together, they transform your relationship with fear. You stop being a fragile being waiting for disaster. You become someone who meets life head-on. Someone grounded, someone prepared, someone who can breathe even in uncertainty. And perhaps the greatest gift of these practices is this: they return you to yourself. When you are present, you are connected to your breath, your body, your senses, your experience. When you embrace discomfort, you connect to your courage, your discipline, and your inner stability. Slowly, you begin to feel something that worry once stole from you: power. Not the power to control everything, but the power to remain yourself no matter what happens. The power to stay steady while others panic. The power to choose how you respond instead of being overwhelmed by fear. The power to meet the future not with dread, but with readiness. Presence teaches you to stop running ahead of life. Voluntary discomfort teaches you to stop running away from life. Combined, they create a mind that does not fear the unknown because it trusts the known strength within. And that trust is what frees you from the endless cycle of overthinking. Not by changing the world, but by changing the way you walk through it. Living above worry, virtue as your compass. There comes a point in every person's life when they start to question why their mind feels so fragile, so easily shaken by outcomes, opinions, failures, or disappointments. You try so hard to do everything right. You plan, you hope, you work, you prepare. But deep inside, your peace still rises and falls with the results you receive or the reactions you get from others. A compliment lifts you. A criticism wounds you. A success makes you feel worthy. A failure makes you feel small. Without realizing it, you've tied your sense of self to the unstable, unpredictable world outside you. And as long as you live this way, you will always feel vulnerable, always feel exposed, always feel one step away from collapse. This is why the Stoics place so much emphasis on aligning your life with virtue instead of results. Results are external. Virtue is internal. Results depend on chance. Virtue depends on character. Results can be taken from you at any moment. Virtue never can. When you lead your life according to values, honesty, courage, integrity, discipline, compassion, you anchor yourself to something that cannot be shaken by the world around you. You stop basing your peace on whether things happen the way you want. Instead, you base your peace on whether you lived with honor in every moment you were given. Most people never reach this point because they spend their entire lives chasing the approval of others. They want admiration, validation, social acceptance. They want to be seen as successful, intelligent, strong, attractive, capable. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to succeed, but when your identity depends on how people respond to you, you lose control of the most intimate part of your life, your inner stability. Opinions change, circumstances change, outcomes change. People turn away without warning. Opportunities dissolve, plans collapse. If your peace is attached to these things, your peace collapses with them. But imagine the opposite. Imagine living in a way where your self-respect comes from your actions, not from applause. Where you measure your worth by your effort, not by results. Where you feel grounded because you know you acted with integrity, even if no one else noticed. This is the kind of strength the Stoics built their lives upon. They understood that a person guided by virtue cannot be conquered by circumstance. When you choose the right action over the comfortable one, the brave decision over the easy one, the truthful word over the flattering lie, you strengthen the foundation of your character from the sit out. You become someone you can trust. You become someone you respect. And that self-respect becomes your shield against fear and worry. Think for a moment about how much anxiety in your life comes from worrying about how things will turn out. You worry about whether your efforts will succeed, whether people will appreciate what you do, whether you will be rejected or misunderstood, whether you will fail publicly. But when you live by virtue, these questions lose their power. You shift from, will this work, to, is this the right thing to do? You stop asking, will people actually approve? And start asking, will I be proud of my behavior? This shift is profound because it transfers control back into your hands. Virtue is your domain. Results are not. And something beautiful happens when you begin to live this way. Worry fades on its own. You no longer fear outcomes because you are no longer defined by them. A failed attempt is not a sign that you're inadequate. It is simply a part of life, a moment of learning, a step in your growth. A negative opinion doesn't pierce you because you know your intention. A disappointment doesn't break you because your foundation is not built on external success, but on internal alignment. You begin to realize that peace comes not from getting what you want, but from being who you know you should be. There is a quiet power that comes from living with unwavering values. People who live like this walk differently. They breathe differently. They carry themselves with a calm that cannot be manufactured because it comes from truth. They do not need to prove themselves. They do not need constant reassurance. They do not need the world to acknowledge their worth. They already know their worth because it is rooted in something unshakable, who they choose to be in every moment, regardless of circumstances. As you step into this final part of your journey, remember this. You will face moments in your life when the world tests you, when things fall apart, when people disappoint you, when your plans fail, when your courage wavers. In those moments, you will be tempted to panic, to worry, to grasp for control. But if you have built your life on virtue, you will not break. You will stand firm because your peace comes from your choices, not from your circumstances. You will find clarity because your values guide you, not your fears. You will walk forward with strength because you know you are acting with honor, even when the world feels uncertain. Before we continue this journey together, I want to take a moment to thank you for being here and for choosing to grow in ways most people never attempt. If this message is resonating with you, I would truly appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Your support helps the Pure Stoic Practice community grow, and your voice encourages others to discover these teachings. A thank you for helping this channel continue to create deeper, wiser, more meaningful content for you and for those who need it. Virtue is the quiet force that steadies you when everything else feels unstable. It is the compass that turns fear into strength, uncertainty into clarity, and worry into peace. When you live by virtue, you no longer fear how life will end. You focus on how you live it. And that, in the end, is the truest form of freedom.